Hi, and welcome to a House of Dice Warmachine Hordes battle report. Today I was joined by Nigel, and we were doing a 50-point battle report on the Incursion Scenario. I was playing Kea 2 with Circle, and who are you playing?
High Reclaimer Menoth.
Alrighty, so we're now going to check out the table, see the scenario, and then we'll show you the lists. For the scenario, we played Incursion. There are 3 flags that give 1 point for controlling it, and 2 points for dominating. For the terrain on the board, we have a forest which grants concealment, and line of sight is reduced to 3 inches within the forest. There are stone walls, buildings, and tower that each grant cover. The bushes give concealment, and the trenches grant cover, and models within the trench do not block line of sight to those behind it. Circle Orboros is led by Kea the Moonhunter. In her battle group is Laris, a Warpwolf Stalker, a Gnarlhorn Satyr, and a Feral Warpwolf. 2 units of Shifting Stones, a full unit of Warpborn Skinwalkers, and the Warpborn Alpha fill up the rest of the army. Protectorate of Menoth is led by the High Reclaimer. In his battle group is Scourge of Heresey and the Hand of Judgement. The rest of the army consists of a unit of Flameguard Cleansers with the command attachment, a unit of Knights Exemplar, a unit of Flamebringers, and a Choir of Menoth. Circle Orboros deployment. Circle deploys with the Skinwalkers taking the right side of the table, Kea, Laris, and the Gnarlhorn in the middle, and the Feral and Stalker on the left side of the board. Protectorate of Menoth deployment. Menoth deploys with the High Reclaimer in the middle, the Flamebringers and Cleansers off to the left side of the board. The Knights Exemplar, both Warjacks, and the Choir are to the right of the High Reclaimer. Both sets of Shifting Stones advance deploy. Circle Orboros, turn 1. The first set of Shifting Stones activates and teleports up 8 inches towards the forest. The second set of Shifting Stones also activate and teleport 8 inches towards the trenches. Laris activates next and runs 14 inches towards the trenches, generating 1 Fury. Kea activates and spends 2 Fury to cast Forced Evolution on the Gnarlhorn, giving him a Strength and Defense bonus. She then advances up 7 inches towards Laris. She drops the rest of her Fury. The Gnarlhorn activates and runs up 10 inches beside the wall. The Stalker activates Warping Strength. He riles for 1 and runs 12 inches towards the forest. The Feral activates and warps speed. He riles for 1 and runs 16 inches towards the flag. The Skinwalkers activate and run 10 inches up the right side of the board, trying to secure that flank. Protectorate of Menoth, turn 1. All the Warjacks gain a focus from power up, and the High Reclaimer gives Scourge of Heresy 1 focus. The Cleansers run up 10 inches around the tower and stay out of the threat range of the Skinwalkers. The Flamebringers run up the left side of the board and stay out of the threat range of the Skinwalkers as well. The Hand of Judgement runs up beside the Cleansers. The Knights run up towards the trenches. The High Reclaimer walks up 5 inches and spends 2 focus to cast Burning Ash, creating a smoke cloud, blocking the line of sight from the Feral to the Knights Exemplar. The High Reclaimer then spends 2 focus to cast Hand of Fate on the Cleansers. Hand of Fate allows the target to roll an additional die on attack and damage roll and then discard the lowest die in each one. Scourge of Heresy then runs up behind the Exemplars. The Choir advances up and casts Shielding onto the Warjacks. With Shielding, the Warjacks cannot be targeted by enemy spells. Circle Orboros, turn 2. Kea leeches all the Fury from her Warbeasts, bringing her up to 6 Fury. She pays 1 to upkeep Forced Evolution on the Gnarlhorn. The Shifting Stones activate and teleport 8 inches in front of the Skinwalkers to try and protect them from the Flamebringers. The Skinwalkers activate and run towards the middle of the board, being careful to stay behind the stones. Kea advances 7 inches behind the Feral. She drops 4 Fury and holds on to 2. She then pops her feat, Call of the Hunt, allowing all beasts in her war group to be forced even if they are outside of her control range. At the end of each activation, the Warbeast can teleport within 3 inches of Kea. The Feral activates and warps Strength. He then charges the Knight's Exemplar. He needs a 5 to hit, and rolls an 8 and the attack hits. Due to warping Strength, the Exemplar is automatically killed. The High Reclaimer gains a soul. The Knight's Exemplar gain Battle Driven, giving them a Strength bonus, an Armor bonus, and Pathfinder. The Feral then strikes at the second Exemplar, needing a 5 to hit. He rolls a 5 and automatically kills that Exemplar as well. The High Reclaimer gains a soul. He then teleports back to Kea. The Warpwolf Stalker activates and warps Prowl, giving him stealth whenever he's in concealment. He then riles for 1 and runs into the forest, gaining concealment. The Shifting Stones activate and teleport around the flag. The Gnarlhorn riles for 1 fury and walks up into the trench. Protectorate of Menoth, turn 2. The 2 soul tokens on the High Reclaimer both turn into focus. The 2 Warjacks each gain a focus from power up. The High Reclaimer upkeeps Hand of Fate for 1 focus. The Cleansers activate and 2 of them take aim. The rest advance and prepare their flamethrowers to shoot at the Skinwalkers. The Leader activates and uses his mini-feat Scouring Flames, increasing the range of the Purifier flamethrowers to range 10. The officer targets the stone, hitting on anything but double ones. Damage is dice minus 6, and due to Hand of Fate, he gets to roll an extra die and drops the lowest. He rolls a 6 and does 0 damage to the stone. He sprays the first Skinwalker, needing a 7 to hit. He rolls a 5 and the attack misses. The spray also reaches to the back Skinwalker, needing a 7 to hit. And he rolls a 7 and the attack hits. The damage on the Skinwalkers is dice minus 4. He rolls a 9 and does 5 damage to the warrior. The next Cleanser activates and sprays another stone, hitting on anything but double ones. The attack hits, and he rolls damage at dice minus 6. He rolls an 11 and destroys the stone. The spray also hits a Skinwalker. Due to aiming, he needs a 5 to hit. He rolls a 6 and the attack hits. The attack hits and does damage at dice minus 4. He rolls an 11 and does 7 damage, leaving the Skinwalker at just 1 health. The spray also hits the back Skinwalker, hitting on a 5. He rolls a 10 and the attack hits. Rolling for damage, he rolls a 7 and kills the Skinwalker. Next Cleanser attacks with his flamethrower. Hitting the stone first, he hits on anything but double ones. The attack hits, and he rolls at dice minus 6 for damage. He rolls an 11 and destroys the stone. The attack also hits a Skinwalker, needing a 5 to hit due to aiming. The attack hits, and he rolls for damage at dice minus 4. He rolls a 7 and sets the Skinwalker on fire, doing 3 damage. The next Cleanser activates and targets a Skinwalker. He's not aiming, so he needs to roll over a 7 to hit. He rolls a 5 and the attack misses. The attack also hits another Skinwalker. He rolls a 10 and the attack hits. Rolling for damage at dice minus 4, he does 4 damage to the grunt. The next Cleanser activates and targets another warrior. He needs a 7 to hit, but rolls a 6 and the attack misses. The attack hits another model, also needing a 7 to hit, but he rolls another 6 and the attack misses. The next Cleanser activates and levels his flamethrower at the Alpha. He needs a 7 to hit the Skinwalker, and rolls an 11 and the attack hits. He rolls a 5 for damage and does 1 point of damage to the Skinwalker. The attack also hits the Alpha, needing a 7 to hit. He rolls a 6 and the attack misses. The Knight's Exemplar activate next. They're given a run charge order. The leader charges the Gnarlhorn, needing a 5 to hit, but he rolls a 3 and the attack misses. The next knight charges a stone, and due to immobile, the attack automatically hits. The Exemplar hits the stone at dice minus 5 for damage, and he rolls a 10, doing 5 damage to the stone, destroying it. The Hand of Judgement activates and advances up 5 inches. He attacks with his flamethrower, hitting a Skinwalker and the Alpha. He rolls to attack the Skinwalker, needing a 7 to hit. He rolls a 7 and the attack hits. Damage on the model is dice -3, and he rolls a 5, doing 2 damage to the Skinwalker. The attack also hits the Alpha, needing a 7 to hit, and he boosts the attack. He rolls an 11, and the attack hits. Damage on the Alpha is dice -3. He rolls a 6 and does 3 damage to the Alpha. The High Reclaimer activates and moves up to the tower. He spends 2 focus to cast Hand of Fate onto the Flamebringers. The High Reclaimer spends another 2 focus to put a Burning Ash cloud down, and then another 2 focus after that to place a second cloud. The Flamebringers activate and are issued a charge order. The first Flamebringer activates and charges a Skinwalker and gets to make an impact attack. She needs a 5 to hit. She rolls an 8 and the attack hits. The Skinwalkers gain unyielding due to being in melee, and the damage is dice -8. She rolls a 9 and does 1 point of damage to the Skinwalker. The second Flamebringer charges a Skinwalker, also gaining an impact attack. She rolls a 6 and the attack hits. Rolling for damage, she rolls another 9 and does 1 point of damage to the Skinwalker, killing it. The third Flamebringer charges one of the shifting stones, and due to immobile, the attack automatically hits. The Flamebringer hits for damage at dice -8 with the impact attack, but she rolls a 4 and does no damage. The next Flamebringer charges a shifting stone as well, automatically hitting due to immobile. Damage is dice -8, but she rolls a 7 and doesn't do any damage. The next Flamebringer runs to the flag. The Flamebringer that charged the stone gets to make her initial attacks, and due to immobile, they automatically hit. The attack hits at dice -9. She rolls a 14 and destroys the stone. The Flamebringer that charged the Skinwalker gets to make her initial attacks, and due to cavalry charge, she gets to roll an extra die on the attack. She needs a 5 to hit, and she rolls a 13, making a critical grievous attack. Damage on the Skinwalker is dice -9. She rolls and kills the Skinwalker. The Flamebringer then gets to sidestep. She moves towards the Skinwalker Alpha. She then makes her second initial attack, needing a 5 to hit. She rolls an 8 and the attack hits. Damage on the Skinwalker is dice -9. She rolls a 14 and does 5 damage to the Alpha, killing it. The Flamebringers then get to reposition 5 inches. The choir activates, moves up, and sings shielding for all the warjacks. Scourge of Heresy activates and runs up for 1 focus. Menoth scores a control point. Circle Orboros, turn 3. The Warpborn Skinwalker checks to see if the fire goes out. He rolls a 4 and the fire fails to go out. He rolls for damage at dice -4. Rolling a 4, the fire does no damage. The second Skinwalker rolls to see if his fire goes out. He rolls a 2 and the fire goes out. Kea leeches all fury from her Warbeast, bringing her up to 6 fury. She spends 1 fury to upkeep Forced Evolution on the Gnarlhorn. The Stalker activates and warps strength. He then charges the Knight Exemplar. He needs a 6 to hit. Rolling an 11, the attack hits, and automatically kills the Exemplar. The Gnarlhorn activates and attacks the Knight Exemplar. He needs a 6 to hit. He rolls a 7 and the attack hits, automatically killing the Menite. The Pharaoh warps speed and advances up to the Knight and attacks him with his claw. Due to Burning Ash and Ashen Veil from the Cleanser, he needs a 9 to hit. He boosts the attack, and he rolls a 9 and kills the Knight. The Pharaoh then strikes the Cleanser, needing an 8 to hit, and he boosts the attack. The Warbeast rolls a 12 and kills the Flameguard. Laris activates and runs 14 inches up the board. Kea then activates and uses Laris' Animus to teleport up to him, placing her within reach of the High Reclaimer. She attacks him, needing an 8 to hit, and boosts the roll. She rolls a 15 and hits at dice -5 for damage. She boosts the attack and rolls a 12, doing 7 points of damage to the Warcaster. Kea buys another attack but rolls a 7, and the attack misses. So after that, I decided to concede victory because Kea was obviously going to get assassinated the next turn. So with that, we have a Menoth victory. So, Nigel, you obviously won, so your list seemed to do quite well. What were you intending to do with that list?
So I wanted to bring a variety of units. So I wanted something fast that could flank. I wanted a couple of good Hand of Fate targets as well. That's Bob's main shtick. So I thought Cleansers, because they have sprays. Hand of Fate seems like it's going to be really useful when you get to make multiple targets with one attack.
Yeah.
And I brought the CA so that they had extra range on one turn, so I could potentially hit more targets.
Yeah.
Then I brought Knights, because Knights hit really hard, and with High Reclaimer's Feet, I thought there'd be an opportunity to have a very hard-hitting unit hit twice.
Yes.
So that was the idea, and then I just brought Jacks that kind of filled in, and I honestly picked ones that just look cool.
Yeah, and I have nothing against cool-looking models because they look fantastic on the table.
Yeah.
And so I find fun ways to play them.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so for my list, I brought Kea 2. I'm still working on figuring out the Gnarlhorn. I got to figure out his positioning and when to counter-slam and not to counter-slam. I played a little conservatively with that, as I didn't use it the entire game. I felt like every time I was going to use it, I would have been left in a bad position.
And that's good, because you saw that,
Yeah.
and you didn't take those. I gave you a couple of opportunities, but they were really cagey for me to give them to you, and you didn't take them, so that was a very good play.
Okay. And yeah, other than that, I had my Stalker, who I was hoping to clear some infantry, but he was nowhere really near a lot of them. You were good at spacing out units so that I couldn't go berserk on them and take out a large chunk of guys. I moved him into the forest to try and protect him earlier on. I'm not too certain that was a good move, as he was quite out of position later on, but it could have meant he didn't die early. So that was good. Last game we had, I did very quickly give up my Feral, which left me at a huge disadvantage the whole game, so I felt like I was holding my guys a little bit further back just to make sure I didn't make that same mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I had the Feral go up. He took not very much, he took out a couple Knights, but that's all that was really available. I decided to pop my feet early just to make sure I used it properly. I felt if I had it later, we'd already be engaged, and having all the models teleport back to Kea, they weren't really getting much out of that. They would have simply just been they would have been able to charge right in front of her. So if I popped it earlier, I felt I didn't have to, I could have gotten the most out of my beasts before they got hit, be brought back, and then charge in again.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if I used it later, they could have teleported back, but then they'd be engaged and not be able to charge right after. So I felt like holding her popping that early and holding her back, in my opinion, was one of the things I could have done. I don't know if using it later could have helped, though.
It could have. I think that by using it early, you got to shave a few of my models off. Like you were saying, if you were to use it later in the game when I'm already at the mid-table, High Reclaimer has this scary ability to extend threat ranges further than they should be, so even if you've pulled them back, I could probably have gotten to them.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably got better value by just removing a few models and then going a long ways back, and being able to do that a second time.
Yeah.
That probably was a good play. I think maybe your Stalker might have been better off more mid-table.
Okay.
So that he could have went either direction.
Mm-hmm.
By being off to the flank, I have an opportunity to not give him more than maybe 1 or 2 infantry models.
Yeah.
He's in the center of the table. He gets more options.
Okay.
And I would have a harder time not giving him something because I wouldn't really be playing the game if I was.
Yes, okay.
you did a really fantastic play with your stones, blocking all of your skinwalkers, right?
Yeah.
By blocking those in so that the cavalry couldn't just get to them whenever they wanted, and I had to remove them first. That was a really cagey play.
Okay. Yeah, with the stones, I don't have much experience with them, and so initially I wanted them just to keep focus balance with Kea, and she's only 6 Fury. Sorry, Fury initially. She's only 6 Fury, so with that amount of beast she has, there's not a lot of Fury mitigation there that she could take it off the beast, so having 2 sets of stones allows me to push them a little further. But once I realized that I could use them to protect some of my models and simply just be, I'd like to say a meat wall, but they're not meat, it's stone wall. They could stonewall in front of a bunch of guys and try and protect them as much as I gave them up. They did protect those guys a little bit. The Skinwalkers, unfortunately, didn't make it through that turn, as the daughters really did do a lot of damage to them, and the cleansers did a lot more. And
yeah, being able to cycle that Hand of Fate onto 2 different units that all have at least 2 attacks because of sprays and impacts and 2 initials.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of value there.
Definitely.
It's a very difficult challenge to position in such a way that I don't get valuable attacks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, with the Skinwalkers, I felt like I initially wanted to have them take the right to middle side of the board and take that, but as soon as I saw the rest of that kind of your models coming around that could have almost instantly wiped them out, I feel like I kind of chickened a little bit and tried bringing them to the middle. That may have been a good move. I feel like either way they were going to lose most of their guys, but I wanted to find a way to negate that as much as possible. So with the stone wall that I did and anything to help them survive, but they didn't make it through, unfortunately. But Hand of Fate Cleansers will do that, and Hand of Fate Daughters will do that.
Yeah, Hand of Fate is a very, very powerful ability that you need to have a plan for if you're going to be playing into Menoth, I think.
Okay. So last question for me: is there anything you could see that I could do differently, or anything that you suggest I do next game going into it?
I think the Stalker being in a more centralized position, because he is probably one of your most effective models at removing large groups of infantry.
Okay.
So if he's more centralized, he can go multiple directions, and he has Pathfinder.
Yes.
Correct. So walls are a good thing for him to hide behind, and things of that nature. If you can find those terrain pieces. Shifting stones, I didn't see any ports, so that's something that maybe work on how that could be an effective utilization of that unit.
Okay.
I think that you played a much cleaner game this time.
Okay.
I didn't just take any of your heavies away. You were very very positioning in a way that I couldn't just put heavies into heavies this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I had a great game. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like what you see, be sure to comment below, like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys next time.